Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Georgia. I hope you're well. Welcome to this week's reading vlog. I have recently checked my continuing series tracker that I do on every monthly reset vlog and realised that, it's getting a bit out of hand again. I managed to get it down under 15 and we've managed to creep our way back up to 19, and I just want to get that under control. What better way to do that than to do a continuing series I'm in the middle of video. So that is what we're going to do today. So I'm going to pick 3 books as always and we are going to read them together in this video. I just want to tame that number again, and I feel like there's definitely some books that I can do to get that done quickly. So we're going to do that. I have already picked my first book for this video and it is a chonky boy. I mean, this is 1,000 pages of just the most amazing story right here. I can sense it. I just know it will be. So the first book we're going to jump into is Warrior Fae by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valente. This is book 5 in the Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac series by the Twisted Sisters, and I have been devouring this series so far. So I'm not going to be able to tell you very much about the happenings of this book in particular, but I will give you a bit of a rundown of this series and what it's about. So if you've not read anything by the Twisted Sisters before, the setup for like the Zodiac series is basically each person has a order gift, so that may be vampire, werewolf, Pegasus, dragon, lion, basilisk, harpy. There's all these different types of order forms, and then each person also has an elemental gift. Now usually people only have one, but there are a few people that have 2, so fire, water, air, earth, that sort of vibe. Now this book is following our main character Elise. Now Elise is a vampire with air element. I'm doubting myself now, I'm 90% sure she's air. And her brother has just recently been murdered and she's taken his place at Aurora Academy to try and find out what happened to him. Now the FIB, which is the Fae Investigation Bureau, I think. It's basically the FBI, but FIB, everything's like slightly twisted. It's really clever. She goes to Aurora Academy because the FIB cannot figure out what happened to her brother and she's determined to figure it out for herself. So she's been given this clue that a king has something to do with it. Now there are 4 kings at this Aurora Academy. There's Dante, who is a dragon with the air element. There's Leon, who is a lion with the fire element. There is Ryder, who has the earth element, he's a basilisk. And there's Gabriel, who's a harpy, who has 2 elemental powers, I believe. I can't remember which one's water, and could totally be lying. There's one of each elemental between them, but I'm pretty sure Gabriel has 2. I should know this, I'm on book 5, but my brain doesn't want to play well today. So the king has something to do with her brother's murder, so she's basically gone to this school to investigate. So she's going to befriend these 4 kings to try and figure out what happened to her brother Gareth. Now I have been devouring this series. I've inhaled books 1 to 4. I love it so much. I've been mainly audioing them, but I've been doing a lot of like immersive reading with them as well. It's written very easily and in a very easy to understand way, while still being so intriguing and having so much going on. We're on book 5. We've got a lot of drama, a lot to unfold, a lot to unravel. We've got a lot of unanswered questions that need to wrap up in this book, which is why I think it's probably as long as it is. But there's still a lot to uncover, so I'm really looking forward to jumping into this one and figuring out what happened. I'm hoping we're finally going to get some answers, but I am absolutely loving this series so far, and I think that this book is going to blow my mind a little bit. I'm doing the recommended reading order, which is to read the first 3 books of Zodiac Academy, then the 5 in this, and then go back to Zodiac Academy. So I'm hoping we're going to figure out why we're reading this here, but we shall see. I love the series so far, so I'm hoping for similar feelings in book 5, but let's jump straight in and make a start on this 1,000-page book. Let's go. So I am currently on chapter 31 of this book, which is page 546, so I am probably around the halfway mark, just over, and I love this series. I love it so much, and I don't think I'm mentally prepared for this to finish. I am absolutely devouring this. I am really scared to finish this book because I'm concerned we're not going to get much of these characters going forward. But with that said, there has been some big reveals in the past sort of few chapters that have sort of really set up why we read these books after book 3 of Zodiac Academy. I was so confused why we're stopping sort of like 3 books in to read another 5 books before jumping back into the main series, and now it makes total sense. I can't really say anything without giving you guys spoilers, but like they're starting to make links to the characters in the Zodiac Academy series, so now I'm like, okay, this is why we're reading this here. So I'm assuming that these are going to step into the story in maybe book 4, I'm enjoying this one a lot. It is super spicy. There is definitely a lot of spice, but it kind of makes sense, as well as just being really fun and there being a lot of it in there, and I love that. I'm loving the spice in this. It is definitely a lot and it's great. I feel like we've slightly veered off course in terms of like one of the big plot points that's been happening through the first 4 books in this series. I do feel like that's kind of gone on the back burner a little bit, but honestly I'm fine with that because I'm still really enjoying the story and sort of really enjoying everything else that's now going on. Do I think this book needs to be as big as it is? Probably not. Do I really care anyway? No, because I'm just having such a fun time, but it is a lot to process. Like a hell of a lot has gone on so far, and we're only sort of just over halfway. So I'm loving it. I'll be back to you probably with my final thoughts and feelings on the end of this series. I'm scared there's going to be a big like reveal. I can feel something brewing in terms of the sort of bad guy in this series. I have predictions that I am terrified, because if I'm right, I have no idea how that's going to go, but equally I feel like it'd be such a good twist. I'm loving it. I'm having the most fun. I am mainly doing audio for this one just because of how big it is. I find it easier, and I've also audioed all the books in this series and I really enjoy the Audible audio for these. My only problem is the female narrator has changed, and that's winding me up a bit, and I keep forgetting. It's fine, it's just taking some getting used to, because obviously when you've read 4 books that are all chunky books, you kind of get used to the narrators, so then yeah, it's just throwing me off a little bit, but it's absolutely fine. I'm devouring it. I'm having the most fun, and I'll be back to you guys later with my final thoughts and feelings on this one. I'm going to put it down now because my arm's going dead, so I will speak to you guys later on. It's going to be him. Oh, it's going to be him. No. It's not? Oh my god. What the fuck? Please. So I'm here to give you my final thoughts and feelings on Warrior Fae by the Twisted Sisters, and do you know what, this is such a bittersweet moment. I finished this book yesterday and I just had to sort of sit and stew on my thoughts and feelings because I'm heartbroken. Like, I'm genuinely so sad to be done with the Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac. Like, I've had the most fun with these characters. I feel like Ryder and Dante, Gabriel, Leon, they'll all just hold like such a special place in my heart. I feel like I've spent so much time with these characters. I mean, this book alone is 1,000 pages. I'm pretty sure this series is like 4,000 pages in total. Like, I've spent a lot of time with these characters, especially as a slow reader. Like, I've spent a hell of a lot of time getting to know these and getting attached to these characters in this storyline, and for that to be over is genuinely just like so heartbreaking. But equally I'm so excited to get back to Zodiac Academy, so like I'm very conflicted in my feelings towards finishing this book. But I devoured this. I feel like I expected to be reading this book for literally weeks and I've already finished it, and like there was so much going on. I feel like going into this book I was a bit concerned because there was still so much to unravel and to like sort, and so much information's come to light that I genuinely just thought that we were never gonna wrap everything up. And I mean, this is 1,000 pages of just jam-packed action. Like, there is so much going on in this book and so many battle scenes, and as you can see from some of my reactions, like there was so much that just caught me off guard and caught me by surprise, and a lot of my like moments like that I didn't get on camera because I was like out and about or driving or whatever, or just so sucked in that I was like, I can't even stop to go and get my camera. Like, I just need to keep reading because I need to know how that plays out. But like, this book just had me so sad, and then literally on like the next few pages had me giggling and kicking my feet, and then had like so much sauce and spice, and then you were back to heartbreak, and it was so hard to sort of like keep up with all the emotions in the best way. I really liked how this one sort of like wrapped up as well. As much as we had like so much drama and so much going on for the first 90% of this book, that last 10% was so sweet, and we got to see sort of like how all the relationships sort of come together and how we sort of wrap up their story, and like we have like a wedding and we have big traditions being formed and all these amazing things involving like the characters that we've come to know and love. And I just think it was the sweetest ending while also preparing for the drama going into Zodiac. It was so sweet to see sort of like some of the characters get their happily ever after in the end of all of this sort of chaos. As much as it absolutely broke my heart, there was still that happily ever after element at the end, and I think that was so needed for all the heartbreak that the Twisted Sisters has put us through to that point. Like, I think it was so nice to finally get that sort of moment of, okay, it works out to a level in the end, and that just, it made me happy because it was just a little bit too heartbreaking for my liking. So I have settled on a 4.5 for this book in particular. So I feel like all of these books have been 4.5 and above. I've enjoyed all of them. I don't know why it's not been a 5. I feel like it does kind of deserve the 5, and now that I'm sat here thinking about it, I might change it. I am going to class this as this 5-star series for me, even though most of the books were 4.5. Like, this is a series that's going to stick with me for a very long time and that I'm going to think about a lot. Like, I love it. I'm so sad to be done with it, but equally I'm so excited to get back to the Zodiac Academy. Like, I loved books 1 to 3, and that was sort of like my introduction to these authors, and like I cannot wait to sort of see what else they've got in store. All in all, I absolutely love this. It's a 5-star series. I highly recommend picking up the Zodiac Academy universe. I'm going to stop rambling on about that one now, and I have actually picked the next book that I want to jump into in this video, and that's going to be Wild Side by Elsie Silver. In like the spring, summer months, all I want is country romance, and I feel like this one just needs to be read. I read book 1 and 2 in like the last 2 months. I think I read one at the end of May and one beginning of June. I'm obsessing over them. They've been 5-star reads for me so far, and I'm really hoping that that continues in this one. This is book 3 in the Rose Hill series by Elsie Silver. These are a collection of single dad romances, which is a trope that I love. If you know me, you know how much I love a single dad romance. So this one sounds like a fake dating, marriage of convenience type situation, and I genuinely cannot wait to jump into it. So I'm going to read you the back, and then I'm literally going to go and get on the sofa and jump straight into this one because I think I'm going to devour this. I'd always dreamed of my wedding day, but not like this, not looking into the eyes of a man who betrayed me. When my nephew's guardianship is contested, I decide I'll do whatever it takes to keep him in Rose Hill, even if that means marrying the enemy. Rhys Dupree, a man who is secretive, brooding and completely infuriating. His work takes him away for weeks on end and brings him back covered in mysterious bruises, ones he won't talk about. In fact, we barely talk at all, which would be fine, except when he's not talking, he's staring, and the way he looks at me is borderline indecent. The tension between us has always been palpable, but living under the same roof is a dangerous temptation. I swore I'd never forgive him, but that was before I knew the man behind the mask, the one who's fierce and protective, gentle and patient, the one who shows up for us when we need him most. He's not at all who I thought he was, and that makes hating my husband so much harder and loving him just a little too easy. I am so excited. I cannot wait to jump into this one. I've heard the most amazing things about this one, but I've also heard some bad things about this one as well. So I'm intrigued to see sort of like what I think jumping into it. So let's go get cozy on the sofa and let's jump straight into Wild Side by Elsie Silver. We're gonna ignore the absolute state. I'm currently just sat in the garden melting. It's currently 30 degrees in the UK. I'm on chapter 18 of Wild Side by Elsie Silver, and I just wanted to jump on and give you guys a bit of a check-in. So I am loving this one so far. I think the setup for it's really unique. So like, we're not actually following a single dad as such, but in this one, our main female character's sister passes away. She has been like to rehab and things like that, and unfortunately has a bit of a slip and falls off the rails, and she leaves her young son behind. So we're following her, Tabitha, and as she sort of navigates grief and also how to sort of tell this young boy that his mum isn't coming back. Her sister actually leaves her nephew in the custody of this guy called Rhys. Now, Rhys owns the house that Tabitha's sister was living in, so he's met her before, spent a lot of time with her in the past, and spent a lot of time in town with this little boy, and we're following them sort of trying to figure out how they're going to make this work, because legally the little kid should be with him, but like emotionally, I'm trying to do the right thing for the boy. It kind of makes sense to leave him with family. Now, he lives miles away, they don't live in the same town, so it's kind of like a bit of a struggle. And also Rhys is a professional wrestler, so he is away for matches a lot, and he is sort of like not around as much as he kind of needs to be for this little boy. So it's kind of like a to and fro of what's the best thing for him, what's the best situation, what's the best living environment for him. Is it to be with family or to follow the sort of legal side of things and the little boy be with Rhys? And it's honestly just so interesting to read about. Like, I really like that setup. I think it's a lot of fun. So the little boy Milo is sort of like the centre of both of their worlds at the moment. They're both grieving. Rhys spent a lot of time with Tabitha's sister as well, got to know her quite well, so we're following them sort of figuring out how they're gonna solve this going forward, because legally he can't stay with Tabitha, but like emotionally he can't stay with Rhys. So that's the sort of dynamic we're working with. So they basically decide to get married. That way he can travel as backwards and forwards as much as he needs legally. Milo can then stay with Tabitha, and that's sort of the direction and the easiest route that they've found. We have that really fun marriage of convenience set in here, but we also have a lot of sort of emotional hatred as well. So like Tabitha has a specific reason for hating Reese as much as she does, and it's really difficult for them to sort of pretend that all is well and that they're deeply in love because she holds this thing against him. And again, I'm really enjoying that side of it. I love that sort of enemies to lovers vibe. The marriage and convenience side of this is so much fun, and I cannot wait to finish this book. So I think for the rest of today I'm just going to sit out in the garden and get this book read because I'm having the best time. I'm loving it so much. It's definitely setting high rating. The series as a whole is just hitting so hard for me. I'm absolutely devouring these books, so I think I want to try and get this one finished today, so I might be back with you either later on tonight or tomorrow with my final thoughts and feelings on this one. Let's just jump straight back into it. Let's see what this marriage of convenience has to offer because I'm having the best time. Let's go. Guys, we just finished this book and we have another 5-star on our hands. I loved this book so much. This series can literally do no wrong in my eyes. I am loving it so much. I feel so emotionally attached to these characters. I feel so invested in their found family and in their story, and I love it so much. I had some predictions to what I thought the third act conflict was going to be in this one, with all the issues of sort of like how they sorted their situation. I fully expected the third act conflict to go one way and it didn't, and I really like that. I loved this so much. I think the romance in this was so sweet. The spicy scenes were perfect. The development of our characters was so lovely, especially for Reese. I feel like Reese definitely had more of like a shy side and was sort of holding a lot and dealing with a lot on his own that he was finally able to sort of talk about and express. And our main female character Tabitha, I feel like her story was so lovely, and seeing her dealing with her grief and not overcoming it but like learning to live with it was just so sweet, and I loved it so much. I genuinely adore this series and I cannot wait to read the last book in this one, but I'm also heartbroken to be done with this after this final book, so I might give it a little bit of time or I might just jump straight into it, who knows. But I love them so much. Elsie Silver can literally do no wrong. I love her writing style immensely. Like, she really is one of my favourite authors. I love her writing so much. She really is something special. This is our second book finished then, so this takes me one book closer to being up to date with the series. Like I said earlier, there is only one left, and that's Wildcard, and I think we're going to be following Bash and Gwen, I think, and it's going to be like an age gap single dad romance, and I think Bash is her ex-boyfriend's dad, so that's going to be a very interesting setup and story. So I love this one. Like I say, a 5-star read, 100%. I don't even have to think about it. This was a 5-star. Loved it so much. So this is our second book for this video done, and now it's time to go upstairs and pick my next one. So I'm gonna go have a nosy and I'll be right back. I've just been upstairs to my library, and I think the next book I'm going to jump into is Next to You by Hannah Burnham Young. It's not on my TBR for this month or anything, but this is only a duet, so I've already read book 1, this is book 2, and then I'm done with this series, so it's another one sort of ticked off. So that means in this video we'll have ticked off 2 series I'm in the middle of, which feels like a pretty good going for me. So this one is book 2 in the sort of like next series by this author. So book 1 was Next of Kin, where we followed Chloe and Warren, and it was like a relationship of convenience, sort of like initiative, foster caregiver romance. So yeah, in this one we're following Lane and Matt. So if I remember correctly, Lane is one of Chloe's best friends. She's like part of the same friendship group, and then Matt is Warren's best friend who works at the repair shop with him. So I really like Lane's friendship with Chloe, and there was another girl as well, and I can't remember what her name was. So I'll just read you the back of this one, and then I think I might just sit here and continue reading today. So Lane is in the middle of an identity crisis. Her friends are all partnered up, her career is heading nowhere, and she's just not happy. So after a night out celebrating her birthday, she makes one hell of an impulsive purchase. A giant 48-passenger yellow school bus that she intends to make her home. We've got a little renovation project. With little to no renovation experience but money from a large inheritance, Lane enlists the help of her friend Matt, a mechanic by trade, handyman by practice, and a hottie by nature. Whilst their mutual attraction is undeniable, Matt's a total family guy with settle down with me tattooed across his forehead, whereas Lane is entirely commitment averse. Matt and Lane have silently agreed that friendship is the only thing that will ever exist between them. So when Matt offers to help with her bus and in the bedroom, Lane's sure it can never work, can it? So it sounds like we've got like a little renovation project this time, which I am so excited about. I get sucked into these sort of like bus renovation projects all the time. It's something that like if I came into a lot of money I would absolutely do it. But it also sounds like I've got a little bit of a friends with benefits sort of situation. So I'm very, very intrigued by that. So, do you know what? Let's just sit and give this book a go. I'm so excited. I love Hannah Bonham Young's writing anyway. I feel like a lot of her books are sort of one POV, which I don't usually love. I don't mind it either. I prefer like dual POV, but we only usually get it from the female's perspective in her writing, so we will probably get a lot of Lane's point of view in this one, but I am so excited. So do you know what, we're just going to go get comfy and continue reading today, and we're going to jump into Next to You by Hannah Bonham Young. Let's go. So I am about halfway through Next to You by Hannah Bonham Young. I'm on chapter 18 and I'm loving this one so far. I think Matt might officially be one of my new favourite book boyfriends. He is definitely up there in the top 10 at this point. I really, really like Matt as a character, and I really love Lane as a character, and I think they complement each other so well. So in this one, we're following Lane. It's all from Lane's perspective. She has recently lost her dad. He died unexpectedly in a car accident. We're still sort of learning what happened around that accident in particular, but we're following Lane as she's sort of dealing with this grief. She was very close with her dad. He was the one that she was most like. Her twin sister and her mom are very similar, and her dad was sort of her person. So we have a very strong topic of following grief through this book. So we're following Lane as she's sort of trying to figure her life out and figure out what she wants to do next and how to be happy and continue on after losing her person. So we do very heavily discuss and continue talking about grief within this book, and it's so like sad but so nice to see Lane sort of try and figure out how to go on and what she wants to do with her life. And she decided to use the inheritance that she got from her father to buy a school bus, and she's decided that, you know what, she's going to renovate the school bus, turn it into her home, and continue to live freely like that. And I just think it's so sweet seeing Lane sort of go, right, forget what my mum's going to say, forget what my sister's going to say, I'm just going to live this life, I'm going to go and I'm going to experience and be free and be creative and have that creative outlet. And I really, really like that. We then follow Matt. Now, Matt is Warren from book one's best friend. We've seen a bit of Lane and Matt together sort of in passing in book one, just because they're part of the same friendship group. They're the two sort of single people left in this friendship group. Everyone's sort of rooting for them and pushing for them anyway. We're seeing them, like, all their friendship groups have, like, placed bets on how long it takes for them to get together and all that sort of stuff. Now, in this one, we do have a friends with benefits sort of situation. There is definitely feelings on both sides, but Matt is very open about the fact that, like, this is what he's wanted for ages. If this is all he can get is a friends with benefits situation, then he's happy with that. And we're just sort of following them as they work together to renovate Lane's school bus. Matt is a mechanic. He works at the same sort of shop as Warren in book one. So he's a mechanic. She needs a school bus renovating. They're trying to keep costs low and trying to keep it within budget. Matt's helping her do that. They're renovating. They're spending a lot of time together. Make like a business arrangement where he will help her renovate the bus and she will help him sort of promote their new garage. Matt is, honestly, I'm not exaggerating, one of my new favourite book boyfriends. Like, he is just amazing. I really, really like him. I like how he treats Chloe. I like how much he spoils her and shows her that she's worth it and that she is deserving of good things and deserving of sort of like happiness. And I think that he just complements Lane perfectly. I think they are the perfect dynamic and the perfect duo now, and I can't wait to see how that sort of unfolds for the second half of this book. We are hitting a bit of a bump in the road at the moment with sort of Lane's expectations of herself and what she thinks she deserves, and the fact that she's sort of like pulling back because there are these feelings involved now. So I'm really intrigued to see sort of how that plays out in the second half of the book. So I'm loving it so far. I'm really enjoying the sort of renovation side of it and seeing how they're doing all of that. I'm excited for like the road trip that we've got coming up, and there's also her sister's wedding that she needs a date for. So Matt is going as her date to this wedding as well. So we're having sort of a meet the family situation as well, and I just can't wait to see how it all plays out. I am so excited. I'm loving it. It's definitely sitting at a quite high rating. I'm just having the most fun. It's really easy to get lost in, really quick reading, and I'm having a really, really fun time. So I'm going to go to the park today. We're going to sit and have a picnic in the park. I'm hoping to get a good chunk of this book read while we're there as well. So I'm going to go keep reading. So I've currently just finished a 10-hour shift, got home, got showered, so we're going to ignore the state. But this morning I finished Next to You by Hannah Bonham Young, and you know what? I really, really liked this one. I think the setup was so fun and so summery. This makes for such a fun summer read, and I just loved the sort of adventure of the renovating the van and them using the van and all that sort of stuff. I really liked the sort of third act conflict with this one, and how it's sort of linked to trauma and grief, and how like their relationship, and especially for Lane, how she measures like what she thinks she deserves based around the things she blames herself for. And I just think that like her development as a character was so lovely to watch. She's really happy-go-lucky and really positive, but she holds a lot of grief internally, and like doesn't express it with anybody, doesn't really share it with anybody, doesn't really talk to anybody about her feelings towards what happened with her dad and things. So seeing that sort of discussed and be talked about in this book was so lovely, and I really enjoyed that side of it. I think the third act conflict was very understandable for their characters and their story, and actually didn't annoy me. It was a bit of like a third act breakup sort of situation, which I don't usually like. I don't like a third act breakup, but it sort of made sense for this story. And I think as much as like how Matt reacted wasn't ideal, it's completely understandable as well, and how that was resolved was all really lovely. The ending of this book was really sweet, and sort of seeing them all come together again was really lovely. I really like the family side of it as well. There's a lot of progression and a lot of like diving into both families. So all in all, I really enjoyed this one. I think it was a hell of a lot of fun. The spice in this was incredible as well. I really liked the spicy scenes in this one, and I also just really liked the story as a whole. I've read 4 books by this author now and really enjoyed all 4 of them, so I do think I want to see if there's any more that I've not read, because there's one on here called Set the Record Straight, which I've not read, and then there was also that People Watching, which I'd quite like to read as well. I feel like I want to catch up on the rest of Hannah Burnham Young's writing, because I really enjoy them. I think they're a lot of fun. So final book for this video then, we have a 4-star book. I think I'm going to settle on a 4-star, maybe a 4.25. I really love Matt and Elaine together. I think they're the perfect couple, so maybe I'm going to settle on a 4.25, I think. Final call, 4.25. So there we have it, a successful reading vlog. There's 2 series complete, so we've completed the Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac series and the next series, and then we have also read the second to last book in the Rose Hill series, so I've only got 1 book left to finish in that one as well. So some good progress made, which I am very happy about. So a successful reading vlog. I do have a bit of an announcement as well. I kind of want it to be a little bit more put together when I did this, and I'll probably do this in my next few videos as well, but I did actually get engaged as well, so this is some very exciting news. If you follow me over on TikTok and Instagram, you'll have probably already seen, but yeah, me and my partner James have gotten engaged. He did propose to me at the weekend, so it's all very new and exciting and very sort of like fresh and hasn't really sunk in yet. So some very exciting news there. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, my social media, my Amazon, my Goodreads and my business email, as well as my Fable, are all in the description bar down below. I really hope you guys are doing well, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.